Give me a minute. I want to respond to Blacksmith 64's comment here. Russia can't win on one front. Now they have two to deal with. And he's referring to the Freedom of Russia legions that have taken ground inside of Russia and are holding that ground. And the guy is right, right? It's absolutely true. Russia cannot deal with another front. And I want to tie this comment to the Moscow massacre and the terrible events that we saw unfold at the Crocus Music Hall. Putin is desperate to blame that on Ukraine somehow and tie it to Ukraine. Why? Because he can't open another front. His own people. There are reports now that the FSB, the folks in charge of the FSB, are fracturing because they don't understand why Putin is trying to tie this to Ukraine. That the real enemy is the Islamic terrorists that took this action against the people of Russia, and that they should be going after them. And instead, Putin is putting all the focus on Ukraine. Lukashenko contradicted him. Lukashenko said, no, they weren't running to Ukraine. They were running to Belarus. Our guys were on high alert. That's why they couldn't get across the border. And you guys were able to capture them, right? So within his own circle, reality is breaking through. It has to. Eventually, reality has to break through. And here's the real problem. These terrorists are a real threat to Russia. They are a real enemy. And they are coming out of Afghanistan in the east. All their forces are committed in the west, in Ukraine. He doesn't have the manpower to open another front and fight the actual enemies that are coming at him from the east. He doesn't have it. And so he's got to tie it to Ukraine in order to marshal a general mobilization, general public support for the continued aggressive actions here in Ukraine. And he can't open another front. And so you're right, Blacksmith 64. He's got trouble. He's got a front inside his own country. He's got a front where all of his forces are committed. And he's got a front that he's failing to acknowledge that's going to hit him again. And that's going to be a problem. And that's what the FSB guys and Lukashenko are worried about. The reality of the situation. This is what happens when you live in a world where you have one guy who cannot be questioned. We are all just monkeys in shoes. No one person has the ultimate truth. And to believe such a thing is to believe the worst kind of bullshit and set yourself up to be used and taken advantage of, which is exactly what Putin is doing to the Russian people for the last 30 years.